for your Wednesday. Look for some sunshine with a breeze out of the north, though. Light cold, highs up around 40 with more mainly dry and cold weather expected through Friday. Celebrate the new year with Dixieland Fireworks, locally owned with the largest selection around. A Black Hat dealer with the lowest prices in Dixie. Dixieland Fireworks, just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nooga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nooga Radio, 92.7 Sports. Now.
Well, good evening to you. It is a Wednesday night. Pie Day. 3/14, of course, is the equivalent for pie. And with me, about the only kind of pie, there's only two kinds of pie that I will eat. And that is a chocolate pudding pie or a pumpkin pie. But I haven't had any of that here today. And with me being diabetic and everything, you know, I have to watch what I eat. But I tell you what, the more and more I've been thinking about it, it's like, I could go for a good slice of pie, literally. But good evening to you. Welcome to Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. Today, all across the country, and this is a non-sports related comment that I'm making, over 3,000 schools, students walking out of classes and, memorializing and giving tribute to the 17 individuals that were killed down in Florida here a couple weeks ago. And I've got to say that I was really proud and also astonished at the same time of how respectful the students over at Red Bank High School were. Was there. We were the only broadcast outlet that were there at Red Bank High School. We even broadcast it live on the radio this morning during the David Tulis show. And, the school officials, for the most part, were very open and receptive. We were only there to observe. We did not want to interfere whatsoever with the walkout. And, 3 students were designated by the school that, could give a comment in an interview for the media. And most of those were from the student council for Red Bank High School. And the Lions, they really roared loudly and proudly. They lit candles for those individuals that were murdered down in Florida here a couple weeks ago, and read their names, lit the candles and everything. And then those 3 representatives, along with a few others, students that spoke up, and they had a moment of silence and then a prayer, student-led prayer. There were no adults involved in the entire process. And so, like I said, I was very proud that they were able to do what they were looking to do. They did not make it a political statement or anything like that, but they want the main part of the message that I got. If you didn't know someone, introduce yourself and become a friend to that individual. That was the one thing that Casey Stewart, who was leading the charge in this, trying to get across, and also with others mentioning this. Get to know your fellow classmates. So that's just, an observation from covering this. And there were other activities going on all throughout Hamilton County, also over in Georgia as well. So, the freedom to exercise free speech, got to work at its finest today. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and congratulate those young people and their efforts in trying to get the message out, to, if you see something or hear something, report it. And so it was a good day. And it's like, you got to have a lot more praise, I guess you could say, that, our generations that are coming up behind us, have got a good head on their shoulders. So just wanted to pass that along. A lot of sports to talk about. The NFL free agent period is underway. We're going to go over that a little bit. Also, I had a weird meeting the other night. See, this is Wednesday, so it would have been Monday night, or maybe it was last night. No, last night. I was at the gas station down the road here, before I made my trek home and everything. And I see this gentleman at the pump. He's getting gas for his daughter. And he had on, athletic attire, warm-ups or sweats. And it had Bryan College on there. Bryan is up in Dayton, Tennessee. And I said to him, I read a lot of sports, and talk about it on the radio and stuff. And I said, every once in a while I get to mention Bryan College. I said, it'd be nice, since I know it's not that far away from us, a little bit of a distance, but, to find out more, be able to publicize, what activities are going on down, or I should say up, and Bryan College. It was named after William Jennings Bryan from the Scopes monkey trial. And I think it was back in the late teens when the school was founded. And so he says, I can help you with that. So he said, I'll even be willing to come on your show and everything, and we can talk about the women's softball team. And I said, that's fine. I said, I'd be more than glad to have you on. The more that we can talk about our area colleges and our local high school sports, is great. We're here to promote local and, our regional teams that are around here. And we don't always have to talk about the Tennessee Titans or Tennessee Vols or, the NFL or NBA or anything like that. The emphasis behind our show is to talk about local and regional sports. Give it its much ado, publicity wise. So today I get an email from the sports information director saying, hey, we'd like to add you to our list. And I replied back, it's great. Be more than glad to. And even the coach that I met at the gas pump the other night, by accident, we're working on trying to get him in here in the studio to talk about Bryan, college women's softball. So we'll have that here in the near future. But the league announced on Monday the list of 278 NAIA Division II women basketball players who were named 2018 Daktronics NAIA Scholar Athletes, and Bryan College's trio of Marley Sells, Tanisha Allison, and Amber Levy represented the Lions as a result of their dedication and hard work in the classroom. So that is one of the first things that came out of Bryan College up in Dayton. 10 Appalachian Athletic Conference schools made the list, with Milligan College in Tennessee landing the most scholar athletes with 7, which tied the University of Michigan Dearborn with the most out of all institutions in NAIA. National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics is what the NAIA stands for. Bluefield College in Virginia, Columbia College in South Carolina follow with 4 apiece. Bryan and Point University in Georgia trailed with 3 apiece. Reinhardt University in Georgia and Tennessee Wesleyan University had 2 each, and Union College in Kentucky and Truett McConnell University in Georgia had 1 make the list respectively as well. It's the second year that Sells has garnered the Scholar Athlete title, while it's a first for both Allison and Levy. So congratulations to those young ladies in making that prestigious list of scholar athletes. You got to remember the one thing about athletes, first and foremost, before they're an athlete, they're a student. Always remember that. Student first, athlete second. Yes, the athletics may help them get the scholarship they need to have that post-high school career in college and possibly go on to the professional ranks or semi-pro ranks. But you got to have the grades in order to play. And that's one thing that when I worked with athletics as the athletic secretary for a school district, a large school district up in central Pennsylvania back in the 90s. We emphasize grades. You don't get the grades, you don't get to play. So it's, a two-way street. They got to be able to help themselves in order to help others. All right. So with that out of the way, I don't always have a diatribe like that, but, just the way things that are going, I just thought that I would mention that. And let's move on here. Some interesting news coming out of Memphis earlier today. I actually 11:30 a.m. meeting between Tubby Smith, the university president at the University of Memphis, M. David Rudd, and athletic director Tom Bowen, ended conversation on Tubby Smith's tenure as the head men's basketball coach. Well, it is over with. Coach Smith, who has had a prestigious career for a long time in the coaching ranks, just completed his second season at Memphis and finished with a 40-26 overall record. But rumors swirled about his future following the team's regular season finale back on March 4th, and a report emerged that stated Memphis is considering former Tigers star Penny Hardaway as its next head coach. Now, Memphis is going to owe Smith nearly $10 million because he still had 3 years remaining on a 5-year contract. And according to the contract, the university is allowed to pay that figure over 6 years. And university's athletic department said in a statement, quote, after considerable deliberations and in the best financial interest of the University of Memphis, an agreement of separation with head men's basketball coach Tubby Smith has been reached. Details are to be finalized. No further comment will be offered. The focus of the Tigers coaching search will now turn to Hardaway, who's currently the head coach at East High School and founder of the Memphis-based AAU Team Penny. Though speculation about Smith's future began to run rampant last week, a person with direct knowledge of the situation told Memphis's newspaper, The Commercial Appeal, that Rudd began discussing the possibility of Smith's firing with the executive committee of the university's board of trustees once Memphis lost in overtime at East Carolina University on February 3rd. Smith's tenure in Memphis proved tumultuous. He was hired in April 2016 after making the NCAA tournament at Texas Tech in hopes that he would reinvigorate the fan base. Tigers men's basketball program has been under scrutiny and the target of discontent during the end of Josh Pastner's 7-year run as head coach. So there's got to be more to the story than what we're getting in the initial reports coming out of Memphis. Coach Smith, 66, he may be heading toward that twilight of his career. And, it's unfortunate that Coach Smith not getting the opportunity to continue finishing out his contract at Memphis. But I'm quite sure that he's still got some gas in that tank yet, and would be a good coach to have come aboard with name recognition. Now, one of the things that I had read in another report was that one of the former assistants that also had some sons that played on the team, well, those sons transferred to Kansas State, I believe it was, and he got redirected as the director of player personnel for the basketball program. Wasn't really a great decision shared by the fan base, and that may have led to the departure a little bit of Coach Smith. But it's like, if you're going against the grain of what you're trying to do, it's better to weed out the bad eggs out of the basket. And maybe that had some repercussions that kind of got rubbed the wrong way with some of the executive committee members of the board of trustees. But, so it goes. Sometimes you take that crapshoot and it may not always pay off in the end, but sometimes it does. So Coach Tubby Smith out of a job, and I'm sure that he will find a good replacement job somewhere down the line. All right. A lot of NASCAR news going on today. Lowe's is ending their sponsorship of Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion, at the end of this season and will be leaving NASCAR. Johnson made his Cup debut in 2001 with Lowe's, and he never had any other company as his primary sponsor. Through 18 years, Johnson has won a record-tying 7 titles, 83 races, and built a Hall of Fame career representing the Lowe's brand. In a quote from Chief Customer Officer Michael P. McDermott in a statement, the number 48 team is a valuable property and has been an integral part of building the Lowe's brand, which makes today's decision difficult as we now look to invest in other strategic initiatives. Lowe's probably stayed in the sport longer than expected because rival Home Depot left NASCAR after the 2014 season. Menards is still in NASCAR, but that's because Paul Menard, the son of the founder of Menards, is Paul Menard's father. And, so as long as Paul is still in it, I think it's Paul Jr., that drives the number 21 car, the Wood Brothers car, if I'm not mistaken. Menards is going to stay in it. Makes sense. While the Lowe's funding helped Johnson and Hendrick Motorsports find the success that they have, it's not much of a rivalry in the marketing space. So they're looking at trying to go into other areas of sponsorship. And being involved in NASCAR is not a cheap investment. It really isn't, even for the drivers and with some of their smaller sponsors. But it's the first time since Rick Hendrick inked the Lowe's deal in 2001 that he has Johnson available to shop to sponsors. Car has almost never had open inventory available for a company to attach its name to the greatest driver of that generation. And according to Hendrick, quote, Jimmy is one of the greatest champions and ambassador in all of sports and still at the top of his game. This change opens up all kinds of possibilities. Look forward to having conversation with potential new partners. It's a special opportunity with an iconic athlete and team. Lowe's was one of the very few sponsors in NASCAR that still funds the majority of a driver's 38-race schedule. The company signed on when Jeff Gordon persuaded Hendrick to take a chance on Johnson, and Hendrick sold the idea to Lowe's. Relationship was instantly successful, even though Lowe's had hedged its bets in initial contract negotiations. So I'm sure that we're going to be seeing a lot of haggling going on, probably seeing some sponsorships that are on other teams come over to that number 48 car as long as Jimmy Johnson wants to continue, running NASCAR in the Monster Energy Cup Series. So it will be interesting to see how things will trickle down as far as shifting and maneuvering going on with that. All right. If you've got a beer with that pole position, well, you can find it with Anheuser-Busch. They announced on Wednesday, NASCAR did, that Anheuser-Busch, a company linked to stock car racing for decades, will return as sponsor of the pole position award in its 3 national series. Busch Beer will replace Coors Light as the pole sponsor. Coors had its name attached to the award since 2008, but the naming rights have been vacant so far this season. The multi-year deal also includes the designation for Busch as the official beer of NASCAR. We see immense value in the loyalty of the NASCAR fan and us being integrated throughout the sport in a number of different touch points, according to Anheuser-Busch Vice President Chelsea Phillips. Pole award includes cash prizes for each pole win, one for the seasonal leader in poles won. Anheuser-Busch is also the primary sponsor of driver Kevin Harvick and Stewart-Haas Racing's number 4 car. Busch also previously sponsored what was known for many years as the Busch Clash, a preseason non-points race at Daytona International Speedway. Advanced Auto Parts is that event's current sponsor. So, for years, what we know as the Xfinity Series was known as the Busch Grand National Series for many years in the 70s and parts of the 80s. And so, it's good to see that Anheuser-Busch getting back into it. Like we said, Kevin Harvick has been enjoying that sponsorship ride with Busch. Budweiser, which is also a part of Anheuser-Busch, last sponsored Dale Earnhardt Jr. here a number of years ago. So, they kind of stepped away from being involved in a total true sponsorship in NASCAR after Dale Jr. switched from the number 8 car and went to the 88, and the Mountain Dew alignment along with Nationwide Insurance stepped in. So it was kind of a good parting of the ways, I guess. But Anheuser-Busch, even though they're foreign owned now, getting back into the NASCAR game in a bigger way. And it's good to see, that amounts to quite a bit of chunk of change there for those NASCAR drivers and their teams that helps go toward the funding of those teams. But we want to remind you can always call in with your questions at 423-800-8949. 423-800-8949. Sports Talk with Sam Jordan, getting ready to go to break here. But when we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit about the NFL. And we'll also talk about UTC Chattanooga, or I should say UT Chattanooga and the Mocs women's basketball team. They're on the road to Birmingham as they're preparing for the WNIT basketball postseason tournament action, trying to get that WNIT championship. And we'll talk more about that when we come back here in just a moment on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4, and of course at NoogaRadio.com. Back in a moment.
Chattanooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Gunshots in Eastlake. One man pierced by a bullet. 22-year-old Javoris Atkins arrived at the hospital around 2:30 p.m. with a gunshot wound. Police say the shooting happened on 4th Avenue in the 3500 block, right behind Eastlake Academy, where children attend every day. Where's Wishman? Monument Company customers want answers, and they want to know where their money went. Numerous customers of Wishman Monument, a headstone maker, have come forward to say that they paid for a headstone and still haven't gotten anything in return. Reports say the DA's office is investigating. A proposal to allow Georgians to purchase alcohol at restaurants and wineries on Sunday mornings is headed to the governor's desk. On Monday, House lawmakers voted 97-64 to allow on-premises consumption to begin at 11 a.m. on Sundays. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, News Now.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair to partly cloudy skies to continue through your nighttime. Cold overnight, lows mid and upper 20s. Now for your Wednesday, look for some sunshine with a breeze out of the north, though. Quite cold, highs up around 40 with more mainly dry and cold weather expected through Friday. Celebrate the new year with Dixieland Fireworks, locally owned with the largest selection around. A Black Hat dealer with the lowest prices in Dixie. Dixieland Fireworks, just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
They're all under $10,000.
$10,000.
That's right. Powerful V8 Hemi cars under $10,000 at Southern Fleet Sales in East Ridge. But you got to get there now for the best selection. These are retired cop cars. And man, are they fast. You want to look really cool. You want a fast car for under 10 grand? Then get to Southern Fleet Sales in East Ridge. That's not just a V8. It's a V8 Hemi cop car. SouthernFleetSales.com. 3900 Ringgold Road, East Ridge. Oh, man, rush. I've got to get stuff for the party. Where can I go that's going to give me a wide selection of beer, wines, and spirits? Oh, I've got it. I'll go to Harry's Wine and Spirits, Signal Mountain. Maybe East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd. I could go to Riley's Wines and Spirits in Hickson. Wow, look at the huge selection in here. Look at these great prices. Amazing. Oh, yeah, I'm going to find something for my lady, too. I'm going to make this party a success.
Make your party a success when you stop in at Harry's Wine and Spirits in Signal Mountain, East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd, and Riley's Wine and Spirits in Hickson.
Mom's Furniture, her boxes of paperback romances, Mom's Estate. Oh, call Dan. Dan will help you get on with your life. Let Dan clear the old house, take care of everything. He'll hand you a nice check. 314-4034. Dan the Cleanup Man, 314-4034.
In this moment, who has your back?
Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with whom? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Let Goss Insurance in Chattanooga help you today. GossInsurance.wordpress.com. Goss, representing Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. GossInsurance.com. Goss. GossInsurance.com. Representing Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. 875-2500. 875-2500.
Your car is broken or about to be, so the problem is, who do you trust? I wouldn't go any farther than Christian Brothers Automotive in Hickson. Come in today and take advantage of the new special. It's an oil change with synthetic oil. At $39, that's a steal. Synthetic oil makes your car or truck last longer. Some restrictions apply. At Christian Brothers, a great shop with a 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty. You decide. Free shuttle service, Class A mechanics. Local owner, nice difference. A synthetic oil change, $39. Wow.
Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nooga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nooga Radio, 92.7 Sports. Now.
Welcome back to segment number 2, Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. And, the other week, my good friends Russell Stroud and Keon Rose, they have a show on Thursday nights from 8 to 9, rather, called Two Millennials Talking. And even though I'm not in that millennial category, I don't even know what category I would be in. Is it Generation X or what? 50. Yeah. I'm not a baby boomer. I know that. So I'm kind of like in between somewhere out there. 70s. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe I'm in that Generation X, but they were in here trying ginger soda out. I'm over in the other studio listening to these two yahoods talking about ginger soda and just having a good time about it. I mean, they weren't necessarily doing a product endorsement or anything like that, but I have to say my good friend Cindy Deering with Cindy's Choice, she has a good association with Chicken Salad Chick over in Gun Barrel Road there by the mall. And then there's also a location in downtown Chattanooga. So she brings by some Chicken Salad Chick. And so, I'm here. There's others that are in the office and everything. And so I'm going back there looking through to see which one I would be interested, because I wanted to try it. I have never tried Chicken Salad Chick before. So I go back there and I get Buffalo Barclay because I like buffalo chicken. I like anything with a little bit of a kick. And this actually has, not a bad kick to it, for being buffalo, flavored. So I get through and I will open this up for my listeners or viewers on YouTube. This is since 4:00. Now I've kind of had to nibble on it because I've had to run in and out and everything, but this is good. And so what I did when I left the first time, I put a sticky note and put it on the lid, Sam's hands off. And I'm telling you what, like I said, I've never tried Chicken Salad Chick before until just this evening. And I mean, it is very, very good. And it's very addicting too, I'm sure, for a lot of people. But, if you get a chance, go to Chicken Salad Chick on Gun Barrel Road or in downtown, I believe it's 3rd and Market Street, and check it out. It's really decent. I'm not a huge chicken salad partaker, but, with me being diabetic, like I've said numerous times, I have to be careful with what I eat. And that's just some good stuff. So if you get a chance, do that. They didn't pay me to make that endorsement or anything, but it's like, if it's something good, I try to tell my friends. So if you're listening, I consider you as a friend. We may have never met before, but, it is what it is. All right, let's go and talk a little bit about the NFL. No, hold on. We'll wait on that. Let's talk about UTC women's basketball. They are over in Birmingham, Alabama, getting ready for their game tomorrow with University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers in the WNIT tournament. It would have been great if UTC would have been able to play their WNIT game here in Chattanooga. We got a wonderful facility at McKenzie Arena. And I'm sure that they've had events of that magnitude, that have came and through the years. And it's just a gorgeous facility. But they're going to be down in Birmingham, and tip-off is slated, if I'm not mistaken, around 12:40 tomorrow. So the team got down there today, where they'll be rusted up and everything. They won't have the services of Kiana Gilbert, but Brooke Burns, Ariana Gilbert, Lakeland Bolden, who's going to be back in the lineup, along with, their regular mainstay of outstanding, talented athletes, student athletes at that, will be representing UTC very well. So we want to wish the Mocs women's basketball program the best of success in their conquest to make it to the championships. They didn't get invited to the NCAA women's basketball tournament of 64, but the WNIT has been around a long time and is a very prestigious honor if you can win that as well. WNIT years ago, I guess about mid-'80s was when the women's actually had a tournament that they could go to. And I think around 82, maybe 83, 84, somewhere in there, the WNIT, got to the level where it's at now. But, Coach Jim Foster, who is probably one of the most intellectual but yet entertaining coaches that I have ever met in my 38 years of broadcasting sports. That other than Lou Holtz, former head football coach at Arkansas and later at Notre Dame, and he also coached the New York Jets for a time, he would be the only one that could beat Coach Jim Foster. Very funny as can be, but when he is talking business with basketball, this man commands the room, literally. I mean, he's held with that much respect and really is an outstanding coach, getting his 900th victory here a little over a month ago. And we had Coach Foster in here in the studio here, a couple of weeks ago. And, he really did not want to take a lot of emphasis on getting that 900th victory. He was more talking about how he was been able to help shape a lot of lives, through coaching. So, it's great to see a coach that doesn't want to have, a lot of praise put on him. He wants that directed toward the athletes that he coaches, and just really an outstanding gentleman in every sense of the word. So I find it a high pleasure to being able to know Coach Foster and, being able to be in his presence and just seeing, he speaks louder with his actions than he does with words. And that's what you kind of look for. So good luck to them. University of Tennessee Vols, they are in the NCAA tournament. They are taking on Wright State down in Dallas. UT Volunteers, head by Rick Barnes, who used to coach in Texas at UT there in Austin. back in Texas again, but this time wearing a different kind of orange, wearing the Tennessee Vols orange, number 3 ranked in the Southeast tournament, taking on number 14 Wright State. And Wright State, Paul Shaheen, I have to give credit to this. He did his homework prior to getting into Dallas here just a few hours ago. And Wright State is located over in North Carolina, which is where a lot of the aeronautical industry, kind of got its start. However, Wright State is named after Orville and Wilbur Wright, who basically created the first airplane out there. Now, those two gentlemen are from Ohio. They have the, I believe it's in Dayton, if I'm not mistaken, the Orville and Wilbur Wright Museum, Aeronautical Museum. And I think it's just outside of downtown Dayton. I've been to it years ago, and it's a very neat place. If you ever make it up to Ohio, stop into Dayton. It's very neat. While you're up there, check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there in Cleveland, right there on the lakefront. And just two amazing places. But they named the school after Orville and Wilbur Wright. So even though, North Carolina is not a part of their history or anything, but, the college decided to name its school after them. So Wright State, and the airplane industry. So some neat things. All right. Now, as I've been alluding to earlier when we started off the broadcast, today is NFL free agent signing period that got underway. And there's a lot of deals that got announced today, some that are forthcoming. Let's just kind of go over this a little bit. Patrick Robinson is joining the Saints on a 4-year pact, according to multiple reports. He was a first-round pick of the Saints in 2010. So it's kind of full circle for Robinson. He gives New Orleans a stellar option with Marshawn Lattimore, Ken Crawley manning the outside spots. Philadelphia, meanwhile, has other options waiting in the wings with second-year cornerbacks Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas. So Robinson leaving the Eagles and heading to New Orleans, staying in the NFC. Julius Peppers, who has been around forever, it seemed like, but he just turned 38, coming off another strong season with 11 sacks, and is certainly still a force as a pass rushing specialist. With 6 more sacks, he'll pass Hall of Famer Kevin Green, who has 160 for third place in NFL history. And he is re-signing with the Panthers, according to the Charlotte Observer. And let's see, Nate Solder is signing with the New York Giants, according to multiple reports. He's leaving New England and will continue that exodus as Big Blue finally reshapes its offensive line. Missing out on Andrew Norwell and watching Weston Richburg depart, Giants had to make a splash up front, and he will be the highest paid left tackle in the NFL for now. Reflection of how badly New York needed to address the position after years of struggles with Eric Flowers. Patriots, meanwhile, lose another piece, but have shown the ability to find the next man up. And that's definitely true. He's been a starter since 2015. Josh Klein will be helping the Titans offensive line. He's one of the NFL's best, remain intact thanks to a reported 4-year deal worth $26 million. Andrew Norwell's mega pact is clearly trickling down to other guards. So Josh Klein re-signing with Tennessee. So with that, also Cameron Wolf making that report in reporting that 4-year, $26 million with $12 million guaranteed, with the potential to make up to $27 million. All right, the Eagles, Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles, first time ever being able to say that in the NFL history. They re-signed linebacker Nigel Bradham to a 5-year, $40 million deal. So he started 69 games in his 6-year career, but GM Howie Roseman may have to unload linebacker Michael Kendricks as Philadelphia navigates a snug salary cap. Running back Carlos Hyde is headed to Cleveland on a 3-year deal, reportedly worth $15 million. Former 49er becomes the Browns' lead back for now, joining quarterback Tyrod Taylor in a new-look backfield. However, both players could be bridging or backing up options if GM John Dorsey is able to get Saquon Barkley and or a rookie quarterback with his pair of top 5 draft selections. You know, I'm going to add in a little comment there because, you know, I've known Saquon for 4 years because he used to cover Penn State on a regular basis. I think Barkley will be more than willing to go to Cleveland because of the fact the emphasis that is being put on this team to get out of the mold of being the dormant cellar dweller that the Browns have been for a number of years. And with all the moves that they've been making, they still got, I think it's 60 to 65 million left in cap space to get this team back into place where it needs to be. And I'm sure that Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, has got to be cringing, but he knows that if he wants to see a bigger dividend pay off and to maybe help offset this pilot Flying J debacle that's went on, you know, he really needs to do something. So it will be interesting to see. I'm not trying to mix politics in with sports, but, you know, part of the Haslam family that owns the pilot Flying J franchises around the country. All right, Jerick McKinnon has agreed to a 4-year, $30 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers. Vikings third down back now likely assumes the same role in San Francisco and may get the bigger role he covets given Hyde is on his way out of town. Niners currently have no clear-cut starter, but Kyle Shanahan tends to have multiple backs. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. The 49ers making some interesting moves as well. Jacksonville's getting a new nickel cornerback in DJ Hayden, former Raiders first-round player. Nets are reported $21 million over 3 years to bolster what's probably the best secondary in the NFL. Because the Jags' new number 3 corner behind stars Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye. The rich get richer, right? All right, New Orleans lost its quarterback in Chase Daniel. Okay, journeyman backup quarterback Chase Daniel. He's going to Chicago, and he's going to sit behind Mitch Trubisky for the next 2 years as a much more affordable insurance policy than Mike Glennon, who will officially be released today. Which may have already happened. Linebacker Avery Williamson has agreed to a 3-year deal with the New York Jets, reportedly worth $22.5 million. The Jets, you know, they've got a few more wins than what the Browns did last year. They actually won 5 and lost 11. But I would actually say the Jets are worse than the Browns. They just got lucky with some of their wins, but Williamson was a steady and durable piece of the Tennessee defense the past 4 seasons and likely supplants Demario Davis for the Jets. Also, the Jets adding quarterback Teddy Bridgewater on a 1-year deal after bringing back quarterback Josh McCown. I don't know whether that was necessarily a smart idea on the fact of the Jets bringing back McCown as their starter. Bridgewater, I mean, all right, that could be a interesting situation to determine if he's got the goods or not, because he's had the injuries that he sustained here the other year. But I'm sure that we'll hear more from Keon on his show coming up at right after the 8 o'clock news here with the Clutch with Keon Rose. But the team known as Gangrene trying to resort its backup plan in case Bridgewater fails. But if Bridgewater stays healthy, well, we could see a good Jets team maybe. But, you know, the Jets and the Giants this past season, well, not really so great. All right, the Green Bay Packers are bringing on former Jets defensive end Muhammad Wilkerson. He's reuniting with former Jets defensive coordinator Mike Patine, who's now serving in the same role at Green Bay. could be something that could jumpstart Wilkerson's career and get back on track. The Jets are signing former Los Angeles Rams cornerback Tremaine Johnson and former Cleveland Browns running back Isaiah Crowell, according to multiple reports. I actually like Crowell. I thought that he was a decent running back for the Browns, just didn't really get a lot of playing time. I mean, as far as running the ball and stuff. But, it'd be interesting to see how things work out. So Patriots losing Malcolm Butler, cornerback, joining the Tennessee Titans on a 5-year, $61.25 million deal. Well, you can't beat them, take their players. And Mike Vrabel, who's the new coach for the Titans, formerly played at New England. So the Patriots look like they're getting picked in a couple of different areas. And, $30 million guaranteed out of that $61.25 million deal. But he was the one that got benched for the Super Bowl. And still nobody has really gave the true reason or rhyme why he was benched. All right, former Arizona Cardinals wide receiver John Smokey Brown will sign with the Baltimore Ravens, according to ESPN. He'll definitely... Baltimore, that is, will be looking for some more targets for Joe Flacco, and that could be one of those that could help make a big difference. Former Indianapolis Colts wide receiver Dante Moncrief is expected to sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars, also according to ESPN. They saw Allen Robinson leave, and Moncrief won't bring that same consistency or highs, but still plenty of an upside in the signing if he can get past some of his injury issues that he's experienced. So they're still looking for that breakout player that could see some outstanding opportunities. Former Carolina Panthers running back Jonathan Stewart expected to sign with the New York Giants, also according to ESPN. And being a little bit of a reuniting, Packers are getting Jimmy Graham, formerly with New Orleans, and they're releasing Jordy Nelson at the wide receiver slot. So Danny Amendola expected to sign with Miami Dolphins, and Sam Bradford's expected to sign a 1-year deal worth $20 million, 15 of it guaranteed. As he will be hitting the road.
News with Russ and
Talk tomorrow.
Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.